Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to the Oriental Café, a podcast where we will sit at the same table to explore the fascinating worlds of Egyptian dance, personal empowerment, and Hagallah life. I'm your host, Joana Saahirah, world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, and author, the creator of the pioneering Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. I will meet you at the Oriental Café every 2 weeks, alone or with a guest, sharing intimate yet universal conversations. In agreement or disagreement, we will create bridges and inspire each other, because the world is only one, and so is our human soul. Ready to fall in love? Yalla bina! Let's open the episode. And this is going to be really informal, so please relax. Please relax. Imagine that we are sitting in a coffee shop having, some nice tea, shay banana, yani, something like that. And we are smoking shisha perhaps, and we are listening to Kulthum. Yani, nice life. Dunya helwa.
What a life. What a life. Life in Cairo. Oh my.
Let's imagine that we are both there and we're just gonna have a conversation. That's all, okay? So I'm
Yes.
gonna open this episode of the Oriental Café podcast with so much anticipation because we have Judy Reda with us. You are a beloved member of our community. You were the first foreign dancer to ever sign a dance contract in Cairo, in the best time there was to dance in Cairo, and we're going to speak about that, right? So I want to welcome you into the episode. It was so challenging to get together, so difficult, but we made it, and I'm really, really honored and happy to have you here as my guest. So I want to welcome you, and I want you to introduce yourself to our audience before I start sharing a few images. Because, guys, here's a note. I am going to share a few images in this episode. So if you're listening to the podcast on YouTube, you're going to see the images. If you're just listening to the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're not going to see them. So my suggestion is that you take a look at YouTube, okay? But before all that, I want to ask you to introduce yourself in your own words. Who is Judy Reda?
Well, first of all, I would like to say again how happy I am to be here and see you and be sharing this wonderful event with you. I'd like to tell people that I have some advice to give, because when you reach the age of 80s, when you get to be in your 80s, you feel different things and you feel wisdom, and you feel that you have the right to tell anyone you want anything because you're older than anyone in the room. And what can you say to someone, who's over 80? I say, you have to listen to me, and that's it. No, it's wisdom, a lot of wisdom. And what I'd like to say is a lot of things that I've learned from Joana, who happens to be, Joana, don't listen, put your hands over your ears, the most generous teacher I have. Don't listen. I don't want to. The most generous teacher I have ever had. She doesn't hide her secrets. She shares all her knowledge with everybody. And she is an inspiration to me and thousands of people. And what I agree with Joana is, a lot of things she says. Don't regret taking risks. I'm going to leave that with you. Life is a big, fat risk. And she has said, don't wait till you're ready.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just strike while the iron is hot. You just got to push yourself in there and do it. And because, oh, I would love to be a perfectionist. Joanna knows I want so much to be perfect, but you can't wait till you be perfect because then it might be too late. So that's a lesson. I said, don't wait because you'll regret it. And don't go through a life regretting, oh, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And one of the things, Joanne has said, I went to Cairo on a risk, a very, very, very big risk, because I didn't know what I was doing. And sometimes people said, if you had known what you went through, everything you went through, would you have done it again? And sometimes I have to think about it because some of the things were a little difficult. But, as the years go by and, the negative things fade away. And I think of everything that I've gained, and I will say to you, everything I am right now, this second, I owe to the dance. Now, when I first started years ago, I wanted to call it Middle Eastern dance because I really disliked the term belly dance. So I tried to call it Middle Eastern, and some people say it's Oriental dance, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing. Whatever it is, it made me what I am today. And I'm proud of that because it's very nice when you reach a certain point of your life. And this is one of my favorite sayings, Joanna, a life well lived. You want to say that. You don't want to say, oh, I stayed in my little safe box and I was afraid and people would look at me and say things and whatever. I want to say a life well lived, and I'm so happy. And the thing is, Joanna, I think you said this too about yourself, that you're basically shy. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that such big stars and entertain that we're basically shy.
Yeah.
What happened to us? How did we unshy ourselves? I have a basic shyness gene. I don't know what I am doing up here, but I did it. And I'm so proud of it because I had to overcome my shyness. And my background is totally opposite. I was very conservative parents, very, very, very conservative, middle class parents, comfortable parents. I was a teacher, young kids, kindergarten, 1, 2, 3, very, very, conservative and everything. My whole life was so conservative. I didn't have to, be afraid and risk things. So, oh yes, and here I am teaching belly dance, coming out of my shell and teaching belly dance.
And here, teaching children.
And teaching children. Yes, teaching children. And look how conservative. Look at me, little Miss Goody Goody there. So
Yes.
it's true. I was a goody goody. My parents were happy because I was a nice conservative little goody goody and I was safe. And when I started dancing, it was, Joanna, it was love at first lesson. Living near the New York area, I was so lucky. I had among the best teachers in the whole United States, Bobby Farah, who is so well known. Oh, by the way, this is my mother and father. You see, very like staid conservative. And look how happy they were because this was before they knew I was going to move to Cairo. So notice
Yeah.
the happiness on their face
Yes.
because
Still happy and innocent.
yes, very innocent. They didn't know. They thought, oh, their daughter's a school teacher. Oh, how wonderful. She's safe. But anyway, I was lucky enough to have the best teachers. Ah, here's Bobby Farr. Yes, he is. He's he was a legend. Absolutely was a
Let
legend.
me
And
let me just interrupt you there because you
sure,
have mentioned a couple of things that I want to pick your brain on. First of
yeah,
all, thank you for your wonderful words about me and my work. I'm really humbled and honored to hear it. Also, I would like to make a note on taking risks, right? Because your entire life has been about taking risks, and I really love it. As you well know, I always invite dancers to take risks, not only because I think we deserve, all of us, to have a life well lived, as you mentioned, but also because the definition of failure, at least for me, it's not even trying. That's what I tell dancers. Failure is the cowardice of not even trying. Okay, because life is meant to be dreamed and worked for and fought for, and not everything will go our way. Many obstacles, many unpredictable things, many things that are not under our control are eventually going to limit our ability to materialize our dreams, but it's worth trying and it's worth jumping on it. And the right moment is always now, for sure. Life goes by really, really fast. So let me go back a little bit and ask you, when was the moment when you fell in love with Egyptian dance? Because you were already mentioning some of your teachers, including Bobby Farah, which we can see in the picture right now on the screen. But let's go back a little bit. When was it that you fell in love with Egyptian dance? Do you remember that moment and can you describe it?
I happened to have the luck to take a half-hour private lesson with Serena, who, one of the legends. A half-hour lesson. Our friend, dearest Morocco, she's fabulous. And Elena, all these legends in New York. And I just and Serena, I took the half hour with her and I became obsessed with it.
Hmm.
I know this is the story of many people.
But what fascinated you about Serena and about Egyptian dance in that particular private first class? What was it exactly that hooked you? Can you put a finger on it?
All I know is within the space of a half hour, the music and the movements felt so natural, like no other movements I've ever done. And something grabbed me in and sucked me in, and I became totally obsessed. And then I wanted to take lessons with not only everyone on the East Coast, but the West Coast, because there was the, West Coast style and the East Coast style. And I wanted to take with everybody that I could, because I know something you have said also, Joanna, curiosity. Never lose your curiosity.
Hmm.
That's one way of keeping young also. Don't ever, ever. Life is about curiosity too. What else can we learn? Keep learning, keep taking risks, keep being curious. And that's why I'm here today.
Yes, absolutely. What was the most important thing Serena taught you? Can you go back in time and remember from those first classes what remained with you?
I don't think I have had the vocabulary to tell you. All I can say is at that time on the East Coast, we were doing mainly a mixture of styles like Turkish, Armenian, Lebanese. Just it was a whole beautiful mishmash of all the Middle Eastern styles. And it was really nice because we got to hear so much and and learn so much. We didn't really the Egyptian style really didn't develop until I came back from Egypt. Now, okay, I will like to say something. I am sharing with you a time capsule of my reality from 1978 to 82. That's all I'm an expert on. I'm not an expert on many other subjects. Ah, my license. That was such a funny story. Um, I only am an expert on what happened in this reality. My reality is 78 to 82. Now I know that you went there later because you're a young chicken. You're much younger than I am. So you went to Egypt after I did. Now, I read from some of your writings, your wonderful writings, and even though you went to Egypt later than I did less, guess what? You had some similar experiences that I did. And but my big difference is that when I went to Egypt, I was the most unprepared person in the world. Now, I shouldn't brag about it, but I'm just telling you the truth. I was the most naive. There were no videos of all the incredible Egyptian dances. We didn't have Egyptian instructors yet. We didn't have Egyptian musicians yet. And I was like going there on a wing and a prayer or whatever it's called. And what I think what happened to me is that I believed I had a guardian angel because somebody was looking after me, because Joanna knows that you can get into a lot of trouble. I don't want to go into it, but you can.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I had a guardian angel looking after me and helping me. So the fact that I'm here today speaking to you is because my guardian angel was very good to me.
Let me ask you, what made you go to Egypt in the first place?
Well, I thought it was the source. I said, if I'm going to dance, whatever I call it, belly dance, Middle Eastern dance, Oriental dance, I want to go to the source. And I was drawn there. Now, when I got there, because I was the first, Joanna, no one knew what to do with me. No one knew what to make. They didn't know what to
Yeah.
make of me.
You must have been an alien. I can
I
imagine
was.
because,
It's
yeah, being the
I was.
first, you
Yeah.
were observed like an alien, like a unicorn.
They they put me under a microscope and they poked me.
100%.
They didn't really. They didn't know what to think of me. Of course, Joanna, there were the naysayers like, what are you doing in Egypt? There are enough dancers. They don't need you. It's like bringing water to the Nile. Why would they need you? And they're all discouraging me. And then it was kind of when they heard I had been a school teacher, educated. I was an educated woman in school, a nice, profession. It was kind of like what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Exactly.
And they were all amazed that I was so nice because, Joanna, guess what impression they had of Americans from what they watched on TV and in the movies?
What did they think of Americans?
Smoking, drinking,
Ah,
crazy, wild, obscene behavior. Oh, they had, the exaggerated opinion of what they had seen on TV and in the movies.
of course.
And they were just so amazed that I wasn't like that. And that was like a big thing to them. That, like, look at this, woman. She's like so well behaved. They were shocked about
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And and again, they discouraged me. And Joanna, guess what? I didn't believe them. I said, I'm going to do it anyway. And I did it. In fact, I did some different things that the other dancers did not do. In fact, I have a relic. I have a something very, well, I think it's an antique. I don't want to say I'm an antique because that's not very nice, but this is one of my swords from Egypt. I had three swords. I used to bring them back and forth on the plane. I don't know if they would let me do that these days, but I decided I'm going to do a sword dance in my routine, and I ended up doing it a three sword routine with two fabulous guys who had worked with the Reda troupe, and they were so much fun. And we had a tableau with the swords, and that was different. So I did everything my own way. I did everything
Mm.
again. Yeah.
Americans, or I would say Westerners, have an idea about the Middle East and the north of Africa, the same way they have an idea about us. It's very often composed of movie scenes, as you mentioned, prejudices, myths, preconceived ideas. They imagine how we are, and we imagine how they are. So when a well-behaved, educated foreign dancer arrives to Egypt, they don't expect you to be a ra'asa, yani. What the hell are you doing here? It's like a wrong casting, it's the wrong character. It doesn't fit the role of an Oriental dancer in Egypt, a professional Oriental dancer in Egypt. So it's kind of groundbreaking in many ways.
Can I tell them how I got my license? Because that was a crazy
Yes,
story.
please, please, please.
Because again, no one knew what to do with me. No one knew what to make of me. But they realized I had to get a work license so that I would be able to work in Cairo. That's one thing they knew.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew that I had to try out. So there was oh wait, I must just interject something. I met such nice Egyptian people who were so helpful towards me. And I think it was because they, realized I was nice. And there is my three-sword act with my dancing boys. And they helped me. So this very nice man took me to Sahara City. And they said I could try out there. So, and Joanna, you'll relate to this. So they said, be there at 10 o'clock, with your costume and whatever you need, your swords. I got there at 10 o'clock. And guess what time I was able to go on stage?
Much later, of course.
Later. Yeah, about, I don't know, 2, 3 a.m.
Of course.
The musicians had fallen asleep, and the audience was gone. And so, back in New York, I had never heard the word magency. I didn't hear it until, I don't know, a long time. No one in Egypt said magency, as the beginning, the entrance is beautiful. Part of music, so I could enter. Ta-da! So I don't know. So anyway, they got me ready, and they're playing the Majesty entrance, and they shoved me on stage. So because I didn't know when to go on, they just kept playing and playing. And then at the end, this is my group, and they at the end, I didn't know when the end of my set was. So they would play a finale turn, and I would go, ta-da! And then they'd keep playing, and I would dance again. And because I didn't know when to come off the stage. So they kept playing, and I would turn and pose, and I did not know to come off. So I think after 3 or 4 times, they needed the hook to get me off the stage. They had to drag me off the stage. But anyway, somehow I passed my exam. And the nice friend who was helping me said, everyone said you have such a nice smell. And I was very embarrassed. Smell? Did everybody smell me? And then realized he meant smile. Smile. That's much better. Because much better to people talking about your smile than your smell. Because what happens with me is that I'm so happy when I dance that my smile just comes out, and I'm just smiling, and hopefully I'm not smelling, but I'm smiling because I'm so happy. So I got my license, and then what happened to me in Cairo is that one thing led to another. Like someone would talk about an agent, and then an agent would talk about this and that, and one thing led to another. And I got to work in my favorite club, the Arizona. Now, in those days, we had these magnificent, big clubs on Harum Street. Later on, people worked on the boats, a lot of work on boats. This time, at this, when I was there, the things were these big, magnificent clubs.
Yes.
Now, in the cool weather, you would work inside, and they were gorgeous. But in the outdoor weather, oh, you would get the fresh air, and you wouldn't have the smoke, and it was just lovely with all the fresh air all around it.
Yes.
And I loved working in them. Oh, and by the way, when I was working on Harem Street, on Pyramid Street, right nearby the Arizona was the Parisiana. And who was at the Parisiana, Joanna?
Yeah, Lucy, of course. I watched Lucy at Le Parisien many, many times while I worked in Egypt. But let me make an important note here. Guys, what Judy is talking about, Haram Street, it's the street that leads to the famous Giza pyramids. And nowadays, those nightclubs are there, but they don't have the impact and the status they had in the 70s, in the 80s, even in the 90s. So Judy is talking about a time, especially the 80s, when nightclubs like Arizona, Casino Leil, Le Parisien, they were like the Broadway of the Middle East. It is nothing of what you see nowadays because many dancers go to Cairo today and they go to Shar al Haram and they presume they're going to find the same glamour and the same magnificence. They don't find the same world. It's a gone world. You were so lucky because you were there at the best time, really the best time. It was a completely different level. You don't find it anymore, unfortunately, of course. Now, let me ask you one thing because I don't want us to forget. I know that at that time you stayed with someone from Farida Fahmi's family and you met Mahmoud Reda.
Yes, he was nice in that he got me some places to live. And one of them was with the mother and father of Farida Fahmi, the mother and father of the Reda troupe, and they were the loveliest people you could imagine.
I
So,
know, I know. Yeah,
oh,
Mahmoud told me so much about them. Mahmoud loved Farida's parents very much.
oh,
He
they were
told
so
me
dear.
a lot about them.
Yeah, they were so dear. And then for a time, they had to go to Alexandria or something. Oh, God. And um, so Mahmoud got me into a residence hotel, which was right on the street that he lived on, that his studio was on. So that was great for me because I was right in the middle of everything. And oh, I have to tell you a piece of advice that Mahmoud gave me. You may think it's a little strange. He said, don't pay taxes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes. Well, I wish we could do this all over the world, just not pay taxes. He said, because once they know where you are, they'll always know you. But if you don't pay taxes, you can get away with it. So, and then the most fun, crazy thing that Mahmoud got me into was, oh, I was at his office one day, and he's telling me jokes because he loved to tell jokes. So he's telling me jokes, blah blah blah, and then he says, "Oh, would you like to be in a film scene?" And I'm like, I've never been in a film. Be in an Egyptian film? Whoa, that is so cool. That is so crazy. be in an Egyptian film, I would love it. Tell me what to do. Tell me everything. He said, well, it'll probably just be about 2 hours because it's only one scene. 2 hours. Joanna, do you think it was only 2 hours?
Of course not. You either spend the entire night there, probably, or the
Yes,
entire day, or both.
yes. It was an Egyptian 2 hours.
Yes. Yes.
So he's telling me, oh, 2 hours, oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, bring your costumes, whatever. So when I got there, I loved it because they're making me up with this dark, dark brown makeup, covering me with makeup. And I got in, and the director was not one that um felt he should talk to the actors in a gentle, calm way. He spoke to them in the Egyptian way. He was threatening them and screaming at them, but very nice to me, very, very nice to me, because he knew I was, American, and my Arabic was slanguage, a lot of slang words. And so, but here I was smiling.
Beautiful. But let
I
me
was
let
so
me
happy.
take you back. Let me take you back a little bit deeper into the experience of working with musicians at a time in Egypt where Oriental dance was really celebrated. Actually,
Mm.
the economy was different, politics were different, the religion was different. And for our listeners, especially for dancers who are particularly interested in Egyptian dance, I want to bring this note that politics, religion, economy, they influence the way the dance is perceived and done in Egypt. I mean, the 80s and the 90s were still a golden era of Egyptian dance in Egypt. There was money to be paid. People hired dancers for good jobs. There were opportunities. There were good places. We just mentioned that Shar al Haram was like the Broadway, the East End. It was a really golden time. So I would like to take you, before we move forward, back into the experience of working with musicians. What is your best memory of working with your musicians? Was it related to the experience of being on stage with them, or maybe the experience of rehearsing with them? If you could bring back only one memory from you and your musicians and that particular feeling, what would that be? Because if I tell you about my musicians, I'll probably start crying. I mean, I miss a lot, but I miss mostly the feeling of being with them in the backstage rehearsing, for instance. It's something that the audience never saw. It's very private, and it happened every night. I would just gather with them and rehearse with them and talk with them and joke with them. And for me, that's one of my fondest memories of working with my band in Egypt for 10 years. But I would like to know, what is your fondest memory of working with your musicians? What is that one thing that you keep in your heart more than anything else?
I Okay. Please forgive me. I cannot say one thing because you mentioned two things, and I will use the expression that all the dancers I know use. Is called living the dream. We're living the dream, and that is to be dancing with fabulous Egyptian musicians, and the whole feeling of, yes, working with them and rehearsing. We used to rehearse at the union, at the musicians union, and of course, guess who paid them? I had to pay them because they weren't going to do it free out of love. Oh, look who's there! There's my Mahmoud and Farida. Look at them! Look at them! Don't they look young and beautiful?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Beautiful
yeah.
indeed.
Yes, but anyway, so I love to rehearse with them. I love to joke with them. I love to talk to them. I I was very, very friendly with them. Now, my uh, band leader, Munir, did not think I should be so friendly with him. He kind of wanted me to be, the queen,
Oh, yeah.
aloof. And I was just kidding around with them. And then on stage with them, when we got a uniform, and I got them all like a white shirt with black trim, and they would all be sitting on stage wearing their uniform, and I'd look at them, and my heart was so full, and I was just uh I it was too much to bear, like, pinch, pinch, pinch. Is this a dream? Am I living the dream? Is this really me? And I guess I did. I guess I did live the dream. I guess it was really me, but it was the whole thing was amazing. And as oh, and of course, I learned so much from the musicians, because they would help me with some moves and some steps, and we would work out the music together. And I have some advice to tell dancers. When you are working with musicians, always, always, always be friendly with the drummer. He is the heartbeat of the music, the heartbeat of the show, the heartbeat of life. Be friendly with the drummer. He can make you or break you. Joanna, I saw a picture of you with a musician who was doing tricks and acrobatics. He was wild. Oh
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I would have been.
That was Hosni Watatak.
He was
He died a
wild.
couple of years ago. He was my first tabal, my first drummer.
Ah,
He was with me for the first years, and he
wow.
was outstanding. He was an incredible performer. I was very lucky because I had specifically two very strong drummers. One was Hosni Watatak, and the other one who was with me until I left Egypt was Mohsen Maradona, which was a bomb, absolutely bombastic. And I agree with you, a tabal can make you or break you. It
Yes,
is
yes,
the
yes.
heartbeat of the band, and if they don't like you for whatever reason, if there is not a good relationship,
No,
you gotta kiss your dream of success goodbye, because they're gonna bring the orchestra down and they're gonna bring you down. Absolutely, so important. Actually, I would say it's important to get along with all your musicians,
yes,
but
yes,
particularly with the tabal, the tabla player, particularly with him, for sure.
yes. I remember my tabla player, when he was teaching me the rhythms. He would like beat the rhythms into my back. Like, I turned my back to him, and he'd like beat his hands on my back. So I would feel the rhythm in my body, because I mean, when you're with musicians, Joanna, you just feel everything in your body, your mind,
Yeah.
your soul, your heart. You just feel it all over. It's fabulous.
Mohsen Maradona, my latest tabal, the one who followed me in the last years, after each show, he would come backstage and kiss
Uh,
my hand, and tell me, يا جوجو يا فنان أنا بحبك والله. He was so talented, very well known in Cairo. He had a difficult, and has a difficult, he's still alive, difficult personality. شخصية يعني صعبة. Difficult, but really talented, absolutely genius. And we got along to the point of really loving and venerating each other. And that really helps. It really helps. I agree with you. If I could tell one thing to dancers who perform with live music is get along with them. Really get along with them. I mean, love your musicians, respect them, and allow them to love you back and respect you back, because that's the base for a great show. That's the base for a great performance. Absolutely. And when they love you, they're going to give you their best. So it is in your own best interest to have a good relationship with the musicians. So much of what we do depend on the music. So it is important for them to be at their best and want to give you their best. So important. Now, still in the subject of musicians, let me ask you about the production of your CDs. You have produced CDs which many dancers, including myself, love till today. Did you use your band to record your CDs? How
Oh,
was the
yes,
process
yes,
of
yes.
creating your CDs? How did that happen?
I would not have used anything in the world other than my guys, because number one, I love them. Number two, I love them. And number three, I love them. And they knew my music, because all along, as we work and work and work and work, we would work out little cute things and breaks and interesting things and good things that really, if it really worked, we made it more. If it wasn't that great, we could leave it out. So they really knew my music and they knew what I wanted. So I said, oh my gosh, this is a chance. I'll take my guys who know my heart and soul. They know what I really love, and they know the way I want to do it. They know what suits my personality, and we can produce this. And I said, aha, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave something that has never been there. And I said, this is going to be a compilation of music that is made for the dancer. This will enhance the dancer. Now, I hate to say this, many albums, CDs, tapes, whatever, are fabulous, but they enhance the orchestra. They enhance the band members. They're not really there to show off this dancer. And the musicians are full of themselves and they like to show off their own skills. And it's like, oh, who is this little dancer dancing around? No, I knew my dancers were going to do exactly what I wanted. It was so great. Now, the only problem, Joanna, was to gather them all together so that we could go into a recording studio, which was during the day. During the day, the musicians are sleeping. They're sleeping or smoking hashish or whatever they do in the day. So
Yes.
we took our minibus. I mean, Fifi Abdou had this huge bus. I had a little minivan, and we went around trying to wake up and find the musicians. So finally, we found them. We woke them up, and we dragged them into the studio. And I was so excited because I had never seen a recording. I've never been at a recording in my life, live. And I thought, in my naivete, that in a recording that you go over the tracks over and over and over again, and you record it and you practice it and you record it, and that's what I thought. You just keep going over it until it sounds right. I was wrong. These guys felt they knew it so well. Joanna, they played it through once. They just played through all the music they wanted once. And I said, well, that's great. Can we like do a little more? Can we do some more musical parts or whatever? And they said no. And I was standing by the door and they ran me over and they ran out and they probably went back to Muhammad Ali Street or wherever they were going. And but I got the reels, those big round. I got the big round reels that they used to do in 1978 to 82. I got in my hands and it was just incredible, this treasure, and I kept it to my heart. And people said later, when I had it, produced, that one of the things they liked about it was because it sounded so real. They said it sounded like the musicians who would play for you in a club. It wasn't this perfectly clean and orchestrated piece of perfection.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
they said it sounded just like the musicians you could hear playing anybody. So they loved it.
I
And
agree. I agree. It's very organic. The sound
yes,
is quite organic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share all the information about your CDs in the show notes because I want
oh
dancers
yes,
to
please.
find them. Okay. Yeah. I am going to share the information about your music in the show notes of the episode. I really love the music. And I'm not telling you this because you're here with me. Your CDs were some of the first I ever bought, and they were part of the reason that I fell in love with Egyptian dance. I still have your CDs. I don't have
Good.
a way of using them, but I still have the actual CDs. Okay, so it is beautiful, and I'm really, really grateful that you recorded them and you managed to put them out there. And once again, now they're available in the modern audio platforms, and I'm gonna make sure that everyone has a way of checking them up. Okay, so I'm gonna share that information
Thank you.
in the show notes of this episode for sure. So
Thank
let
you, because
me
that's
let
yeah.
me get into something else before we move forward, because and this is a particular curiosity of mine. Part of the reason why I spent 10 years straight working in Cairo was also because, aside from building my career, or at least the beginning of my career, I was also working with Mahmoud Reda, studying with him, and I was watching some great dancers and learning from some great dancers. Now, we've already mentioned I was in Egypt way later than you did, so I did not catch this golden era of great performers, but you did. You watched Soher Zaki, you watched Lucy, of course, you watched Nagwa Fouad, the real icons of Egyptian dance. So, once again, out of curiosity, and this is, a personal interest of mine, what were your favorite performers? Who were your favorite among these stars? Who were the ones that you really, really loved watching the most?
Okay. I have to say this, and I know you will agree with me. Mona,
Mm.
Mona Said. Oh man. You know what I used to tell myself? If like I could ever come back in another life and dance like someone, oh God, this that picture didn't fit with Mona Said. And dance like someone. I would love to dance like her. Because
Hmm.
and one thing I loved about Mona is her arms and her hands, which also can make or break a dancer. If you see a dancer with bad hands and bad arms, forget it. But Mona, aside from everything else that was so magnificent, I really zoned in on her arms and hands, and I thought that was beautiful. And Azza Sherif, the Hagallah. Could you not be in love with that? Joanna, I saw the Hagallah in person. I saw her do it in person. I was in the show with practically in the show. And that's when I first came to Cairo and I didn't know anything. And some businessmen just happened to take me to see this show, Azza Sherif. I knew nothing about Azza Sherif or dancing or shows or dancers or the golden age or the schmolden age. I saw Azza Sherif do something. It was so magical. My hair was on end. I had goosebumps. I had tears in my eyes. I have chills now. Why do I have chills now? 50 years later, I have chills from Azza Sherif. And when I would play that video, to dancers now, they have a great video. Dancers were moved to tears. Dancers were crying over this video. And of course, she had this look, this sensual look, her face, her figure. She was like on the balls of her feet for. Anyway, you can see I was very, very excited about it. And of course, Lucy, as you said, so delicate, so light on her feet. And I loved to watch her. And she was adorable. And we were friends, and we used to have such a good time together. In fact, at one time, I had a rip in my, that ugly net things that the girls had to wear back at my age. And the net was ripping before I went on stage, and she took a needle and she sewed up my costume. Now, Negwa would not have been sewing up my costume for no.
Definitely not.
No, Lucy was such a sweet, precious little thing. And she did that for me. And I still remember that. She was a doll, and she had such a wonderful smile, and the people loved her. So yeah. So the Negro, of course, spectacle. Oh my God. I am very much turned on by spectacular spectacles, and with all her dancers and singers, costume changes, original music. Las Vegas, Las Vegas, here we come. And
I mean, Abdul Wahab composed for her.
yes,
Abdul Wahab composed for Nagwa Fuad. I mean,
yes, she got the best of everything. She was a queen. And what a star. And and she, of course, one of the reasons I'm dressed nicely for this, Joanna, is because Negwa always said, look like a star, walk like a queen, enter like a queen. Don't just kind of slump around, because, sometimes girls go to a show and they're wearing jeans and some ugly old clothes. And no, Neg was like always like, here I am, you lucky people. I am the queen.
what about Fifi Abdou? What about Fifi Abdou? Did you happen to watch her perform as well?
This is my reality, my little old time capsule. None of the stars or the Oriental dancers there were instructing dance. There were not, the festivals where everyone was instructing. They didn't see the money machine the American girls who were it was the cash cow. The cash cow kept on going in. No, they didn't think, well, I have to be nice to American girls so I can get money. No, Fifi didn't realize what was coming. So, no one had really heard about the American girls or the big workshops and festivals. So on one night, it was a Thursday night, and I had a lot. Thursday night is the big night, of course, in Cairo, because Friday is the day off. The Thursday night they have the weddings, and I love the weddings. The weddings are my favorite, and all the big shows and nightclubs. So, of course, we were all in a hurry. Everyone was in a hurry, but so wanted I had wanted to come back into the ladies' room to change so I could get on to my next show.
Yes.
And Fifi, wasn't going to be disturbed by me. So I forget if my manager, I don't know, someone had to know, she barricaded the door, knock on the door and say I had to get in there and change. And she's giving me this looks because she didn't know, and she's like, and who made your costume? And I said, oh, Madame Abla, the same as made yours. Ha, 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 ha. Madame Abla costume, look at me, here I am. So, I don't know. It was just, I mean, I know she was so popular.
Yes.
Oh,
What do
God,
you think made her so popular as a performer? What was it? What's your take on it?
the men thought she was sexy, earthy, and, her hip moves and everything. But, as I said, for me, I really, I just, I wasn't thrilled with her.
We don't have to love everyone. And sometimes you have a great performer who may not be a great person or vice versa. And we all have our preferences. It's fine. It's just fine. Now, let me go a little bit into or before we go a little bit into something else, let me add something that I was thinking while you were sharing. One of the reasons why Egyptian dancers did not care about the festivals or teaching Americans or teaching Westerners, whatever, it's because the market was so good. You did not need to make money out of teaching. Even during the years I was in Cairo, 10 years, I barely taught. I wasn't teaching. I did not need it. There was no need. I was working every night like hell. I had to say no to work. So you made a really, really good money. And I can only imagine in the 70s and 80s and 90s, even more. I mean, you could live really well from performing in Cairo in the good old days. So they did not need to think about teaching. And I don't think they even considered that teaching Egyptian dance was possible. For a lot, yeah, for a lot of those dancers of that generation, you're either Egyptian and you know how to do it, or you don't. And the concept of teaching it to foreigners, it's kind of weird. Of course, now things have changed dramatically, as you know, and we have a lot of Egyptian teachers teaching in festivals outside of Egypt, but that is relatively new. That is relatively new. Egyptians did not really believe that this was something to be taught to foreigners. You're not Egyptian, so what do you want me to do? Even when I studied with Azza Sherif, for instance, I studied with Azza for a long time while I was performing. With Mahmoud. Mahmoud was different, of course, because Mahmoud Reda knew how to teach. He had the concept of pedagogy, methodology. He knew how to break down a choreography, how to break down a step. But dancers like Azza Sherif, Soher Zaki, Nagwa Fouad, they could not teach. They would just dance in front of you and you would follow them. That was their concept of teaching. They dance, they improvise in front of you, and you follow them if you can. That happened with Soher Zaki. It happened with Nagwa. It happened with all the great teachers. So this concept of teaching Egyptian dance for Egyptian dancers is relatively new. Relatively new. Now, let us go a little bit into what I was going to get into, which is you and the role you have nowadays supporting other dancers. You're one of the most generous, kind dancer in our community. I always see you being so supportive, so empowering, so kind. And by the way, guys, Judy has offered our school a donation. I'm going to speak about that in the end of the episode. So, a lucky student is going to receive a very kind gift from our guest, but I'm going to go into it at the end of the episode. I would like to go into the role of kindness and the role that you play as a sponsor, as a supporter, as someone who uplifts other dancers. Why do you do that? In a world where everyone seems to rip each other's hair off and competing against each other, you're such a breath of fresh air. I really mean that. For me, it's really refreshing because I'm used to really tough competition and people trying to stop me and block me and harm me in any way they can. So when I see someone as kind as you are to everyone, I feel there's hope and I feel, wow, that's new and that's fresh. What is the role of kindness, in your opinion, in our dance community? Is that important?
To me, there is a religion, a universal religion in this universe. And I think if you look at every single religion in the world and look at their rules, and I try to say, what is the basis of all their rules? No matter where you were born or what your religion, it's kindness, Joanna. Am I right? Kindness. If we were all kind to people instead of saying, my God is better than your God, my teacher is better than your teacher, my costume is better than your costume. If we were kind to people, that would help the world so much because you have even said there's only one of you and one of me and one of everybody, and you cannot imitate people exactly. You have to find your own self and express your heart and body and soul and try to do the most you can with yourself. And I can't see the point in being mean. I just can't. I think meanness shows something very negative in a person's psyche. They must have low self-esteem, don't you think?
I agree,
If
100%.
someone had good self-esteem, why would they have to express negativity? So I am always talking about positivity, 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 positivity. Just because, again, a life well lived. We only have one life. Let's live it well. Let's believe in the religion of kindness, whether it's in dancing or your home life or whatever life you are. Be kind to people, because if you're not kind, people are going to think there's something wrong with you. They're going to think you have some kind of a psychotic problem. It's true.
Yes, I
Don't you think
certainly
it's
do.
true?
I certainly
It,
do. When I see someone being mean, I'm worried.
yeah,
I'm worried for the person. I say, what the hell is going on in their life that justifies such evilness? That person cannot be okay. Yeah, I'm worried for the person.
it's true. It's true. It's true. One life to live. Live your dream. It's, it's just not worth it to, like you've spoken about all the competition in all the festivals. They're competing and competing and competing. I think they're competing to see who can wear the smallest costumes. I can't even find the costumes. They're competing so much. Everyone's competing. And that probably causes a lot of stress. A lot of stress. And I don't know if it brings out the best.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. You know, when I signed my first contract in Cairo, on the first years, I used to find my dresses in the backstage room burnt with cigars.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, burned with cigars, holes on it burned. So I would leave for whatever reason to have my dinner or go to the bathroom. My assistant would not be there, and someone would go there and do that. At a point, I had nails in my boots, nails, so that I would bring the foot in and I would be destroyed.
Ugh,
When I speak about competition, I'm coming from a really, really experience based vision, and that's why when someone is kind and when someone uplifts other dancers, for me, it's really refreshing, it's really new, and it's really beautiful. And what I usually tell students is, it takes as much effort to be kind as it takes to be evil. It's the same, it's not harder to be kind. You just use your energy to be to others the way you wish that they would be to you. At least this is how I was raised. I was
yes,
raised by a mother who was really tough and taught me this. The only religion that exists is treat others the way you want to be treated.
exactly.
That's all you need to know. You don't need to, to have fancy holy books or fancy religions. Just treat
Thank you.
others the way you want to be treated. It is that simple. Okay, so it is wonderful to see you uplifting everyone, right? And that brings me to one last question about our dance field, which is how you have seen the evolution of the dance from the time when you were in Cairo till today. You have seen it all. You have seen a huge stretch of time. How do you see the evolution of Egyptian dance, what people usually call belly dance, Middle Eastern dance, Raqs Sharki, Yani, guys, whatever you want to call it? Do you feel we are evolving positively? Do you feel we're not? Are there good points, bad points? Because, when I make this question to dancers, some dancers feel, okay, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to speak bad things about what's going on, but I have to say the truth. And my position on it is there are a lot of positive points and a lot of negative points. Okay, and this is just my observation, not having lived through it as long as you did. So I want you to go back to the 80s, 70s, 80s when you started. And if you can, I know it's a hard exercise, but if you can, make a summary of how the dance evolved and let me know if you think we're better now or worse. Are we evolving positively or not?
Okay. We've said over and over again, we've spoken about the golden age of Oriental dance. And somehow I was so lucky to be at the end of the golden age. Not the first golden age, it was way back,
Yeah.
in the
Yes, yes,
30s,
yes.
but the end with the last great dancers, the last great ones, and how lucky I was, and how it inspired people, and how, let's say you had a friend, you had a relative, and they said, "Oh, Judy, what are you doing? Can you show me a picture of what, the dance looks like?" And I could show them videos of these beautiful golden age dances, respectable and ladylike and genteel. I mean, think of showing them Sue Hare, who, unfortunately we've just lost, but showing them people who really expressed the art, expressed the music, expressed their heart and soul. And I really can't to talk about the new things because the things I've seen, and like you said, other people don't. We don't want to be negative, and sometimes they'll say, "Well, my mother told me if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all."
You got a point. You got a point. So, what is it that you think makes a great Oriental dancer? Let's jump into that final question. So, I want you to look back at all your experience, these decades of experience, these decades of observation. What makes a great Oriental dancer?
Oh, can I tell you something I've heard of? And this is I heard of when I came to Cairo, and it amazed me. And I've heard you say it, and some great teachers have said it. Less is more.
Mm.
And I was very shocked. I had people tell me, Judy, you know too much. You really know, you don't need to know so much. And one man told me, and I had just thought it was so funny, because we were talking about, when people would say something nice to me or nice to you, you are translating the music. Your body is a good translation of the music. They like to say that. Egyptians like to say that. And one guy said the opposite. He said one dancer looked as if she was trying to escape from the music. And I just thought that was such a funny thing to say, because everyone's just saying, oh, you're translating the music, you're one with the music. And he said some poor girl was trying to escape, like run away from the music. And I would like to tell people, don't run away from the music. And unless it's true, you don't want to be running off the stage when the music is going east and you're going west.
Definitely not.
No. And again, so much about the feeling of the music and to really feel it. And one of the things, oh, Joanna, one of the things that happened to me in Cairo, and this happened to me just to show how little I knew, something fabulous happened to me, but I didn't know the name for it. And it was Tarab.
Mm.
No one had ever, do you think anyone in Egypt is talking about it? Oh, Judy, you're feeling Tarab. This is how you feel it.
Yeah.
No, but I felt it. And I didn't know till years after. Aha, that was it. That was Tarab. I would feel it is that, that transcendence is one with you and your body and the music and the audience, and it's all coming together in this fantastic transcendental moment of Tarab. And I would feel it, but I didn't know it was called a special thing.
Yeah.
And
In
then
Egypt,
years later,
actually, musicians in Egypt, they refer to tarab usually as sultana or nashwa. I don't remember to hear musicians, either my musicians or other musicians, talking about tarab at all. It's nashwa or sultana. Those are the two Arabic words that musicians refer to when they're talking about transcendence. And I love the way you described it, because it's an experience of unity. It's a spiritual experience between you, the music, and the audience. Everyone comes together in that reunion, in that reconnection, it is a religious experience.
it is.
When I talk about tarab with students, for instance, I always tell them, remember that Oriental dance, Egyptian dance, is religious, from the Latin religare, which means to reconnect. Tarab or Sultana or Nashwa is an experience of reconnection, reconnection to one's soul and connection between you, the music, and the audience. It is beautiful, Beautiful. A miracle, really. So
Yes, yeah,
let
I'm so,
me
yeah.
let me bring something else because I stopped sharing our images, but it's time to bring our images back. And one particular image, especially. Aha. So once again, if you are listening to this episode on
Please.
Spotify or Apple podcasts, I really invite you to go on YouTube. It's worth it. It's worth it. Believe me, it's worth it. Check YouTube, please, because you will want to see this image. Okay. So tell me about Jerry and tell me about what all these years of marriage have taught you about love.
That there's a fine line between genius and insanity.
Absolutely.
And when you're married to a man who is so fascinating and so talented, it's not easy as some people might think. Now, again, you always have to be wanting to learn something new and curious. And we were lucky enough to travel all over the world. And right now, we were someplace that, as you can see, has nothing to do with music or tarab. Yeah, maybe the tarab of having squirrel monkeys pee on you or do tricks on you. But I mean, look at my face. I was in heaven. So maybe it was tarab. I was so happy and just something like having these little cute little monkeys picking at our hair, trying to steal things from us. It was precious, but part of being married is to be a friend with your partner and to try new things and do exciting things and go new places and be be a good sport about things and compromise a lot. Um, Luckily, we both loved travel. Love travel. And I guess we both love having monkeys crawl all over us. But
Apparently you do. Apparently you do.
yes,
Yes.
look at our faces. That's the happiest faces
Yeah.
we've had.
I know that Jerry plays the piano and sings. Does
Yes,
he
he
ever
does.
sing for you? Does he sing
Oh
for
my
you?
God. Not only sing for me, but he knows how to get on my good side. He really does. He'll be singing love songs and he'll put my name in the songs. I cannot resist that. He'll be singing these beautiful songs and always stick my name in the words. And it's so romantic and it's so cute.
What is your favorite romantic song? Love song?
Ah, well, a song from our wedding was a whole new world from Aladdin.
Mm,
So that's and a whole new world is it's a metaphor for life, wouldn't you say?
absolutely.
Like always look for something new over the horizon and 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 yeah. I mean now we're both in our 80s. We've slowed down. We're not looking to travel around the world anymore. And we're gonna travel to places closer to home.
What is your favorite thing to do with Jerry these days? If you're not traveling as much, what is your favorite thing to do?
Well, um, if we're home,
Hmm,
we like to watch things we can learn from, documentaries. As I said, I love to learn. and docudramas and documentaries about history. I love that because I'm learning nature. We look at the docudramas about nature and places to go. And it's nice to sort of be able to travel like right from your own home, because then we can say, oh, we were there, we were there, we were there, and we feel like part of the world, citizens of the world. So, we can say, oh, we were already there and we saw that, and we feel good. We have been, Joanna, we have been very fortunate. I must say, we have been very fortunate in all the things we have shared together. And even, I don't know if you saw some of the pictures when we were doing shows for children. We entertained children, and we would do like silly, clowny, ridiculous things, which is good for our personalities because we are on the level like of a 4-year-old. We can get down to a 4-year-old level and be just as silly as they are, and they think, gosh, we're big silly people, and we just love it. So we've done, Joanna, we have done a lot of things. So now we're like a little bit in the slow lane.
Is there a secret to a long, happy marriage? I know this is such a cliche question, and I hate cliches, but I'm gonna go against myself. Is
Yeah.
there like a key? Whenever I speak about this with my husband, we sometimes speak about this. I often tell him, you're my favorite person in the world. Even if we weren't married, he would still be my favorite person in the world. I love doing everything with him, everything. So for me, that's a huge key, right? For a successful in the sense of happy marriage. What is it in your experience that makes a long lasting and happy marriage? If you could only share one thing, what would that be?
Well, we've been together much longer than you have.
For sure.
So we've had to go through a lot more. So we're not so sweet as you are. No. Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution. Okay. Okay.
Because if you're together 35, 40 years, you're going to have conflicts and you have to resolve them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
I
and
just, I
yeah,
love seeing you together, and I just love how you clearly adore each other. It's really lovely to see. And I can only wish you many more years of happiness and silliness and fun, and conflict resolution.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to close now with, first of all, with a note on your beautiful fund, Judy Reda's fund. So I announced it before, and I'm going to reinforce that. One of our beautiful students at Joana Saahirah's online dance school is going to win a beautiful donation by Judy, offered by Judy. Thank you once more for that gift. And I am going to share all the information about your CDs in the show notes, and also all information on how people can find you if they want to reach out to you, if they want to speak to you, and why wouldn't they? You are so lovely and so beautiful and kind to everyone. And we are going to close with a ping pong question. So I'm going to ask you about favorite things, and I don't want you to think too much. I want you to say exactly what's on your mind when you hear a favorite something. Okay, so what is your favorite word?
Gob smacked.
Beautiful.
All right,
I
wait.
love that.
Did I tell? but let's tell them what it means, because I just learned this word. Jerry and I learned it just, I don't know, this year. Gob is actually an old term from the English or Scottish or whatever, Irish. Gob is the mouth. And smacked, it seems to me like, oh, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, your mouth hangs down to the floor because like jaw dropping. So to me, it's kind of jaw dropping. I like things in the world that make your jaw drop and that you have to smack your gob over.
Yes, me too. And that's a great one. That's a great one. I
It's
love that
cool.
feeling. Favorite feeling. Talking about feelings, what is your favorite feeling?
Right now, at this time in my life, my favorite feeling would be serenity. Because believe me, living in Cairo, it was not serene and gentle and tranquil. It was like adrenaline, cortisol, everything.
In
I
Cairo, you can never have, you can never be alone. You're not allowed to be alone. It's impossible to be alone. You're always surrounded by people. And yes, it's cortisol 24/7. Go, 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 go. It's fantastic, but not forever.
no
So, favorite food.
ice cream, ice cream. Give me ice cream and I will follow you anywhere.
Which flavor?
Mm. Chocolate chip mint. I like, the coolness of the mint is very cool, good for the stomach, and the little pieces of chocolate. Give me chocolate chip. Now, wait, I can sit with a what do you call it? A quart, a little container, and not put it in a bowl and just scoop, scoop, scoop. Don't
Yes.
look, don't look.
Yes, wonderful. Favorite music.
All right, I will say very hot, sexy Latin music because I love drums. No, I love drums. Drums, I love drum solos in Egypt, drum solos in Latin. And you know why? Because we all came from Africa, all of us genetically. And Egypt is in Africa. So you got all those wild, hot Haitian, Puerto Rican drums. I love drums.
Do you know my first paid job in dance was like a salsa instructor and performer?
Whoa, I love that. I love
It
it.
was, it was. I was really, really young and I started learning for myself, not for work. And at that time, that was the biggest salsa school, not only salsa, salsa, mambo, merengue, cha cha
I
cha,
love it. I
the
love it. I
Latin
love it.
rhythms. Yeah. And the teacher invited me to teach at the school and to perform. So I was not even 18 and I was working on it. I love it. La clave.
Whoa.
Pa, 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 pa,
Oh,
pa,
I love
pa,
it.
pa, pa. Los
I
timbales.
I go
It's,
crazy. I
yeah,
go crazy.
yeah, I get that. I get that. I totally get it. Favorite place?
All right. The tropics. Oh, cool breezes and palm trees and lovely beaches and waves. And I'm sitting in the shade and someone's bringing me a cool drink.
I can relate. One wish for yourself and one wish for the world.
For myself, you know what? Again, at this stage in my life, the most important thing is good health. When you're young, you don't think about health. You don't care. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to live forever. Old age is for old people. Health, 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 health. I wish health for everybody I know, because as you get older, people start to drop like flies. They really do. So health is so important. I wish health.
And one wish for the world.
I wish for world peace. Can I win Miss Universe?
One positive change that everyone can do to empower themselves today. One positive change, a habit, a routine, a decision, something that all of us can do to empower ourselves today.
Something, and it's something you've said in every single one of your lessons, and it's empowering yourself, working on self-confidence and positivity, because again, we have one life to live. And if you look at some of the news articles, Joanna, we never know when our time is up. Never. And each day is a blessing. And be appreciative of everything we have each day. And don't waste time in negative behaviors or negative thoughts. Again, and sometimes it's not easy to build your self-confidence. Maybe you've had terrible things happen to you and you're thinking, oh, woe is me. Terrible things happen. And maybe you look at other people. Envy is the death of joy.
I agree. You know
If
that. I agree 100%.
if you compete, if you just go around being envious of people, how can you appreciate what you have? But try to look for the good things in you. Or we could use that, try to look for a silver lining in a cloud. Like that old idiom, there's this silver lining in every cloud. You might have to look a little harder in the clouds some days, but or then there's an old saying, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You get it. It's hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're tired. You're tired of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps.
Again, I can relate. I can relate big time. I also believe that empowering oneself is allowing oneself to be human. When I'm working with students on a one-on-one private coaching session, for instance, I often tell them, sometimes you just need to go down. You just need to have a good cry. You just need to feel sorry for yourself, but get out of there soon enough. You don't stay there. The secret is you don't stay down, but you're allowed to go down. At some points, you just need to feel terrible and you feel tired and you are tired of pulling yourself up all the time. I speak for myself. I've always been very, let's go, let's do it. I believe in myself, blah, blah, blah. And that's genuinely how I'm built. But some days I'm so tired that even I feel, okay, I just need a good cry. I just need to rest today. I don't want to be a superhero today. I just need to be human today. I'm going to cut myself a slack. So sometimes the most empowering thing you can do for yourself is just allowing yourself to be human, and then go back to moving forward and believing in yourself. Because if you don't, nobody will. This is, again, a big cliche, but it's true. Self-confidence is something you build for yourself. Nobody's going to give it to you. Believe me, nobody. Nobody's going to give it to you. So you have to work it from the inside out. Now let's go into our recommendations, which is one of the favorite parts of the podcast, at least my favorite parts. books that you recommend or a book that you recommend.
Okay. I know this sounds a little crazy, Joanna, but I recommend anything that you write. You resonate with me. It's like, how does Joanna know what I'm thinking and feeling? And I love reading, even if it's like a short blurb, a short message on your videos. Oh, the way she says that. And you gave like a free ebook. And this is amazing. She's like reading me. And because you don't just write about one subject, you write about the universe, you write about
Oh my
everything.
God. That's so kind, Judy. And you are going to be perhaps surprised by something that I'm going to reveal. Well, first of all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. I mean, it's crazy, all right? I feel insecure about my writing. It's the one thing I don't feel confident about. I work really hard at it. And I'm currently working on new books, two new books, and I always feel insecure about it. I don't feel insecure about my dance. That I know very well what I'm doing in my dance. But in writing, I always second guess myself. That's a fragile, insecure point for me. There you go. So I bet you did not see that coming. Yeah, but it is.
No,
So when you say something like that, I feel kind of surprised on one side and on the other side I go like, "Really? Oh, really? Okay." That makes a huge difference for me. You know, every time someone comments on my writing, it really makes a difference to me. It feeds the art of writing for me, and it gives me a little bit more of confidence because this is an area where I am not 100% confident.
it seems as though English is your first language, and I can understand how you can write so beautifully and fluently in in another
No, look,
language.
English is my third language and I'm self-taught.
No,
Oh, yes. English is my third language. So I'm a native Portuguese and Spanish speaker. Okay. I grew up in terrible schools. And when I say terrible, it's really terrible schools. So I did not study languages objectively in school. I taught myself English the same way I taught myself Arabic and French and other languages that I speak fluently. So it's crazy, but well, thank you so much for saying that. Once again, I'm always in awe and surprised. Okay. Recommended movie or documentary. What is that one thing that you would like others to see? A documentary that you have seen or a movie. It doesn't have to be related to Egypt or Egyptian dance. Not necessarily.
well, there's one thing that I spoke about before, and I can't speak about it enough. And this is for dancers, is if the video of the Hagallah of Azza Sherif, because over the years, I have read so many times where dancers have said they were moved to tears. And if something affects you that strongly, I think it's a good thing to watch. And as I told you, Jerry and I love the docudramas and documentaries because, for me, sometimes just, a movie, I don't care that much because I feel I want to use my time to learn things and improve my mind because you reach a point in life as the years go by where you are a little concerned with your mind and senior moments. And sometimes a senior moment can last a long time. So I want to like keep improving my mind, and learning new things is one of the most important things. And by the way, Joanna, they say one of the most important things to keep you from getting senile is languages. And when you said you have all these languages, that's so great for your brain. So
Yes.
you're doing good. You're doing good.
I hope so, yeah. I grew up between different languages, okay? So also it comes natural to me. And I love languages. I love to speak different languages, to be able to read in different languages. It's a big thing for me because I'm a bookworm. I'm basically a bookworm. I'm addicted to books. So it's really nice to be able to read in different languages and have access to more education, more information. Now, recommended music. And here I am going to ask you specifically for Oriental dancers. So, folks who practice Egyptian dance, what would you recommend aside from your CDs, which are wonderful? And again, let me remind you guys the references for Judy's CDs are in the show notes. Okay, so basically everything related to Judy, the donation she has made to the school, her CDs, how to find her, her contact, her Facebook, where you are really, really active. All of it is in the show notes, okay? Aside from your CDs, what is that one music or musical style that you recommend to Oriental dancers? Or singer, maybe a singer, some
First
reference.
of first of all, I am again, we're talking about the golden age and the last golden ages of music. The modern music is not my cup of tea, not my cup of tea. No, it's fun, it's cute, but does it get inside my guts? No. I like the older music, the more classical music, and one piece, and you will agree, Fiyom Walela by Warner.
Allah, beautiful.
Is that
That's
gorgeous? Is that gorgeous? Or is that I could fly? When I hear that, I could just fly around the room like a crazy person. It's exhilarating
mm,
because I remember when I was in Cairo and that came out, you would hear it in the street from all the kiosks where they'd be playing their music, and you'd hear it on all the streets, and it was just gorgeous, gorgeous music.
في يوم وليلة by Warda.
Ah,
Beautiful, beautiful,
ah,
beautiful.
ah,
I
love, love,
I
love, love, love.
agree. I agree. I agree. And to close, one word that uplifts your soul, that one word that makes you remain positive, remain faithful. What is that?
I can't really think of one word because we've said so many incredible, gobsmacking words. We've said so much this whole time. I'm so pleased with the wonderful, rapport and the wonderful words we've been saying the whole time. And um, I can't think of one word.
I am going to say it for you.
Oh, I'd
I
say
am
it, say
going
it.
to change the rules of the podcast and I'm going to say it for you. And I'm going to say it in Arabic.
Oh,
The word
Malesh.
لا ما
Malesh.
مش معلش no no not معلش لا
Malesh.
لا no no
Malesh. Yes,
no
yes,
no
yes,
no
yes.
no it could be ولا بكرة إن شاء الله بكرة
Boker
إن شاء الله
inshallah. Malesh. Malesh. Malesh.
معلش
That's
لا يعني
that's
it
the
could
word
be
of my life.
but no the word is روح soul
Oh,
soul
soul.
soul yeah روح very important very
Yes.
important for Egyptian dance. Please guys bring it back, it's urgent. And even more important for our lives, I believe. I think we are kind of losing our soulfulness. People are becoming really really machine like, very sour, very cynical. The world now is, a hard place to be in. You know, it's difficult to remain human. And I think that soulfulness is mandatory.
You know something, what you're bringing up, and it's going to be coming up more and more. AI, things are being taken over by AI. And with all the things that AI can do, I don't know if it replaces soul. So if we can keep some of our soul instead of, I mean, AI is taking over, they want to take over every aspect of our life. And then robots. Next is coming robots, Joanna. Can you see robot Oriental dancers? Oh, no.
You know what? I just had my first argument with a robot at a supermarket. It's the end
Won.
of times. It's the end of times.
Who won? Who won?
I won.
Oh,
What the hell? Do you think I would let a robot win an argument? No way. Over my dead body. So now we are going to close as we usually do. You are going to ask me anything you want
you better
about
answer
anything.
me. All right. Now don't get out of it. I want you to tell me about how, I mean, you've just been married a short time. How did you meet your husband? And how did you work things out so that he would be the best person in your life? And you know why I ask you that? Because you are a very unusual person. You are a very strong person. So that I would think the man would have to have a very strong personality so he could keep up, you know, the male part and the female part and everything. Are you going to get out of that, or are you going to tell me?
No, I'm going to tell you. By the way, we have been married not for so long, but we have been together almost for 10 years now.
10 years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't realize that.
Yeah, of course.
10 years, that's long.
Yeah. So it's not so short. We have been together and living like a married couple for almost 10 years. And we met in Bali, of all places, on my birthday, the 13th of
Woo,
June.
woo.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I it is a hard question. I think your question is hard, and probably he would answer it better than I do because, you know, he is a very strong person himself. He has his own character, his own values, his own opinion. He's an Aquarius, so he has a very strong and sometimes stubborn set of ideas. And we don't agree on everything, but we respect each other's opinions and perspective. I do not believe that he's scared from my strength. I want to believe that he finds it inspiring, he finds it interesting. And it is important, I believe, in a romantic relationship, even if you are a very strong person, or both of you are, not to get into power struggles and becoming the dominant something. I think that a relationship is a partnership. I am strong, he is strong, but we're not competing and we're not fighting and we're not checking who's the strongest. We're just loving each other. So both of us have to know how to deal with our strengths and our weaknesses. And also, I had to learn to be more feminine. I'm going to be very honest with you. When I met him, indirectly, without ever speaking about it, he had a way of allowing me to be soft again, which I couldn't do. I had a really tough life, you know, and all those years of career in Egypt, and then traveling the world by myself and having to build my own name by myself. And I had a very tough shell, you know, and a very strong armor. And somehow, without wanting to or without even mentioning, he managed to bring that shield down, and he managed to show me that I could be soft and I could be feminine and I could be vulnerable. And it was okay and it was safe. So I am allowed to be much more than strong with him. I am allowed to be myself, which is so much more than just the strong facade most people know. All right. So it is beautiful how with the right person, you kind of go back into the person that you are meant to be. That's how I feel about him and our dynamic, our relationship. Okay, and also, a strong man doesn't feel threatened by a strong woman. Only weak men feel threatened by strong women, you know? So we deal with each other like partners. There is no competition to be had. Okay, there is no competition to be had. It's all about how well can we love each other, you know? And I try to be good at it. I try to be good. Every once in a while, I tell him, I want to make sure that if I disappear for, if I die suddenly, whatever, you have the best memories of me. I want to make sure that he has the best memories of me.
Yeah, I've often said that it's teamwork. Instead of competing, I've said to Jerry, we're on the same team. There's no who's more right and who's more wrong. I hate that.
Exactly.
I want to feel we're on the same team.
Exactly. But sometimes couples forget that.
Yes, 1 out of 2 couples forget that.
Oh, yes. So it's important to remind ourselves. I think it's important to remind ourselves. And it's also important, the same way when we talked about kindness, I mentioned that we should be to others what we want them to be towards us. In
Yes,
in relationships, romantic relationships specifically, I truly believe that you should love the other person the way you want them to love you. So if I want to feel
yes,
respected, I respect him. If I want to feel his passion, I give him my passion. If I want him to feel that he's heard, or if I want to be heard, I make sure that he's heard. It's a kind of giving what you want to receive. Giving what you want to receive. Pretty much like that. Did I answer your question? I think I did.
yes. I think you did very well because, especially as I said, when, the woman like you, who you've been world renowned and famous and known and blah blah blah, and known as a very competent, strong person. And then the male, has to know how to deal like that without being threatened.
Yeah.
So I would think that he would have to be very strong and self-confident within his masculinity.
Oh, he
So
is. Yeah,
yeah,
he
I
is.
I would think so.
Yeah. Also consider that we're not only what we do professionally, right? So I have an entire life, personal life that the public never gets to see. And when he met me, he met the person. He did not
Oh,
meet the dancer, the artist, he did not meet that. He met the person.
I have to. I'm just curious. Okay, so when he met you as a person, blah blah blah. What were his reactions when he saw you dance? Do you remember?
He
In
just
in
he just loved it because it's a part of who I am, but it's not all I am. It's not everything that I am. That's my point. He loved it because it's a part of what I do. He knows how I work really hard. He knows how professional I am in everything that I do. Really, really hard to keep up with me because I am always really demanding with everything I do. I like to do things well done. And I do believe he respects that and he admires it. It's not something that makes him feel threatened at all. I think that's just one reason why he loves me, one of many. Judy, thank you
Now
so
I don't have
much.
to worry. I don't have to worry about you now. It sounds good.
No, you don't have to worry about me. When I met him, I won the lottery. And when I think about everything in my life, I always say I always had to work really hard for everything. Nothing fell on my lap, nothing. The only thing that fell from the sky, and it was really a gift, a very rare gift, it was him and our love. So, in that sense, I won the lottery. It was a strike of luck, for sure, a privilege from the sky.
Well, I hope you go on being blessed. And again, the best blessing is good health.
Absolutely. And I wish you the same. And once again, thank you so much for this wonderful time. Guys, I am going to invite you to comment on the episode, like the episode, share your love for Judy, please, in the comments. One last time, I am going to share all the information about the donation you have made to our school, Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School, your CDs. And by the way, if you are watching the episode on YouTube, you're seeing the cover of one of those CDs with Judy. You have the cover next to you. So you can see that, guys. There it is. Yeah. So I'm going to share all that in the show notes, as well as the recommendations that Judy has shared with us. My dear Judy, my dear Fanene, my dear Malika, Seat, Queen, everything that we love and admire. Thank you once again for this time, for making this happen. I know it wasn't easy, but we made it happen. And I am so thrilled because we have a really special episode that is going to stay and inspire so many dancers of today and of the future.
One thing. In honor of Suhair Zaki, our great queen of the golden age, back in when I was there, 78 to 82, she would throw a kiss in a certain way. And I know you and I are all for kisses and kisses. She would do it like this. And I want all of you at home, or wherever you are, in your car, on your tablet, I want you to practice this. Okay. You know what it was like? You know, like a little flower in the blossoms and blooms. And she would throw kisses at people. So in honor of our dear Suhair, who, by the way, was the most respectable dancer in all of Egypt, most respectable. Blow everyone a kiss. And when you see people today, wherever they are, blow them a kiss.
Mwah. A kiss to you, Judy. Thank you once again for being here. A kiss to all our listeners. Again, guys, subscribe to our Oriental Café podcast newsletter. Check all the references from our beautiful guest, and I hope to see you in an upcoming episode of the Oriental Café. Judy, I will catch up with you. See you soon. Mwah. And thank you once more for being you and for being here with me. It was really, really a pleasure.